technical foul before the game to start things off. So Katie Nelson's going to get us going from the line as she hits a free throw. And that is an unusual way to start off a ball game. So it's 1-0 Wisconsin in the early going. Credit the point to Katie Nelson. And now we'll tip it up after an administrative technical foul was issued. So right off the bat, Wisconsin with the perfect start. And even though the game's already started, we'll get set to tip it off. That's not something you see every day. And away we officially go in College Park with Wisconsin up 1-0 and a Maryland offense that averages nearly 81 points per game, starting off with the ball. Josh, that's an interesting way to start things off. You don't see that every day.
Not as much as an interesting way to start it off for the Terps as Angel Reese gets underneath the basket.
Angel Reese, and as we already talked about in the open, such a fantastic piece for Maryland on the interior. 15 points, 16 rebounds. One game ago against Nebraska, including 10 offensive rebounds. As Wisconsin will get into their first offensive set of the day. Freshman Christina Elu trying to drive inside, but Chloe Bibby takes it away. Katie Benson coming the other way for Maryland. Diamond Miller tries to kick it out for Bibby, who did really well just to keep it between the white lines. And now the Terps can reset with Katie Benson, the graduate student from Harvard. Transfer from a couple years ago, gets it inside for Diamond Miller. Miller goes up strong, gets her own rebound. Bibby on the weak side. Third time is the charm for Maryland.
And you're seeing that size advantage already. The Terps getting 2 offensive rebounds on that possession, converted into 2 points.
Bibby, a transfer after the 2019-20 season from Mississippi State, originally from Australia. Here's Katie Nelson, who followed Marissa Mosley from Boston University to Madison, Wisconsin. Played 4 years for the Terriers. Nice backdoor cut for Pospashlova. Finds its way to Nelson on the left wing, left it short. An offensive rebound by Wisconsin. Nelson into the corner for Brooke Schrammick is on target. The sophomore from Illinois. First field goal of the day for Wisconsin. That's how Wisconsin's going to have to do a lot of their work. Josh, it's the great equalizer, isn't it, the three-point line?
Gonna have to hit a lot of those today if you're gonna be successful against this tough Maryland defense.
I think a pass was intended for Reese inside, but it went off the backboard. And a chaotic start, to say the least, between the technical foul and a couple of turnovers in the early going for Maryland. Nelson stops on a dime, out to Elu. A dozen on the shot clock, and it's denied inside. Benson might have gotten a piece of it, so might have Reese. Inside for Bibby. Bucket and the foul. Who led all scorers with 23 points a couple of days ago against Nebraska last time out. A little full court action put on by Maryland. Cheyenne Sellers puts the pressure on Nelson. We'll be able to get it right back. 4 really successful years at BU for Nelson. Led the team in assists and minutes all 4 years, and she's leading the entire conference in minutes this year. Second, also a member of the Wisconsin Badgers, and Julie Pospashlova, we talked about in the open. 5 seconds to shoot for the Badgers, rather. They have to hurry. And that one's no good, and unable to save it is Pospashlova. Reese coming all the way. Kicked out to the corner for Bibby. And now Benson will reset things. Benson into the paint. Kicked out to the other side for Sellers, in and out. The rim not kind to Cheyenne Sellers that time, and Wisconsin still within a possession 3 minutes into this one. Katie Nelson took too many steps. That's the second turnover of the day for Wisconsin. Brenda Freeze in the opening couple of minutes. It's been a, as we mentioned, choppy start for Maryland.
Yeah, only 7-4, 4 minutes in. Trying to find that offensive flow still.
Chloe Bibby has 5 of the 7 points for the Terps. Here's Diamond Miller. Right wing is off the mark as well. Christina Elu, the freshman from Chicago, was held to just 3 points on 1 of 5 shooting last time out against Illinois. What was a Wisconsin win to snap a 3-game losing streak for the Badgers, sitting at 3-9 in the Big Ten at the moment. They try to get it inside for Hallie Douglas, but it finds its way to Elu, who's all alone, but she couldn't finish things off. Benson lost the handle, did well to find Sellers though, and now Bibby can reset. Over to Miller on the right wing. Skip pass for Sellers. Sellers can't get it to go. Reese on the offensive glass. Reese already with 4 points, 2 rebounds, and Wisconsin on the other side hasn't scored in over 2.5 minutes. As Maryland races out to the early advantage, but Reese can't complete the three-point play.
And if you want to have one knock on Angel Reese this season, it is that free throw percentage, just above 65%. Like to see that around the mid-70s area.
Nelson, the seas just parted for her, and a nice entry pass to get it in for the graduate student, as Wisconsin's able to snap that drought. Benson's been quiet so far. Sellers gets into the paint, finds Reese. Quick double team comes for Angel Reese, and it was a good decision because it denied her, and it went out of bounds. Players that Marissa Mosley had the chance to coach at UConn. It's an all-star list, as it's going to stay with Maryland here. 5 right there.
I think that team would win a national championship in its sleep.
Sellers pulls up for a mid-range 2 and knocks it down. Talk about winning national championships. That's something Mosley did on a couple of occasions while in Storrs, Connecticut. A couple of accolades for her. Also won the 2018-19 Patriot League Coach of the Year when she came to Boston University, her alma mater. And now making the jump up to the Big Ten. Trying to get a little bit of momentum with this Wisconsin Badgers program. Tara Stoffaker is checked into the game. She's on the ball and gets it over to Nelson, who's got 3 points so far, including that technical free throw to start things off. Shot clock winding all the way down, but Pospashlova is able to connect.
Really good move with the up and under there from Pospashlova.
Reese going right back into the interior. 3 ball on the way for Bibby. Bullseye.
By rule, it's a one-shot technical before the game even starts.
And then the stoppage of play was for a delay of game warning against Thaisa Koslova, who's on the bench for Maryland. So that solves all the housekeeping issues, and we're back to basketball. And Wisconsin down by 6, looking to cut into that deficit. With the ball now, Hallie Douglas is off the mark. And she'll hear it a bit from the Xfinity Center crowd.
Good look, good ball moving from the Badgers, just didn't get the good shot.
Marissa Mosley trying to usher her team on a very tough test against the number 15 team in the nation, part of this loaded Big Ten this year. Miller gets her way into the paint, doesn't get the friendly roll. Inside, though, is Mimi Collins coming off of the bench and getting a second chance point.
Starting the way we went into break. Offensive rebound up and off the glass for the Terps.
Maryland dominating on the glass right now, 8-4. They're doubling up the Badgers in that category. And they're doubling them up on the scoreboard as well, 16-8. Nelson's been a bright spot in the early going. Finds Douglas. Here's Pospashlova. She can shoot the 3. With under 10 seconds to go, she gives it up for Brooke Schrammick, who doesn't get it to go. Stoffaker on the offensive glass, and Bibby's able to clean things up. Sellers with 2 points in the first quarter with about 3 minutes to go. Benson is still scoreless. Don't see Benson drive too much, and instead she gives it up to Miller. 10 seconds to shoot for the Terps. Collins, long 2, missed everything, might have taken a deflection as Sellers tried to save it. It's going to stay with Maryland. Katie Nelson will be able to bring things up for the Badgers. A little full court action put on by the Terps, and Wisconsin's able to break it. Season high in points for Nelson was 24 against Penn State. As here's Pospashlova on the baseline. Stops her dribble and tried to get a pass over to Stoffaker on the other corner. It hit the backboard apparatus. Another turnover for Wisconsin and another drought of over 2 minutes since they had last scored. Low scoring affair so far in the first quarter. Benson calling for the ball. Collins didn't see her in time. And now Benson will be able to track it down. Under 10 seconds to shoot again. Straight away 3 for Benson. Cash.
That's as good as a free throw for Katie Benson. You cannot be going under the screen there if you're the Badgers.
And Marissa Mosley calls a timeout, perhaps to say Maryland team that Brenda Fries has put together, and the eyes starting to creep a little bit towards March, and the chance at some hardware as Collins gets tagged with a foul.
Any of those top 5 teams.
You got Michigan, you got Indiana, Ohio State, Maryland, and if Iowa's a 5 seed, that's among the toughest 5 seeds in the history of the Big Ten tournament, as Reese gets a hand on the entry pass.
If I'm any
Caitlin Clark with a ridiculous performance, but Naz Hillman and the Wolverines were able to come away with a win in that one. They lead the conference, Maryland sitting as the 4 seed as it stands, looking to get another win on the resume. Pospisilova tries to go into the paint. It was taken away, and Sellers trying to move in transition. Didn't have the number, so we'll pull it back. Bibby from the left corner, can't get it to go. Offensive rebound trying to be corralled by Reese, but Nelson, working among the trees, was able to take it away. Douglas gets it inside for Schremek. It was taken away, though, by Sellers. Got a hand to it, and Bibby will slow things up with 75 seconds to go in the first quarter. Up top for Sellers, will let it fly and knock it down. She could do that, too, from beyond the arc.
Aggressive from the freshman early on. Hit a mid-range, now hit a straightaway 3.
It's an 11-0 run. It's a 13-2 run, and Wisconsin's scoring drought is over 3.5 minutes. 22-8 as we've reached the final minute of the first quarter. Nice backdoor cut, though, from Nelson, but she was off balance and couldn't lay it in. Collins had it stripped nicely by Katie Nelson. There's 35.8 seconds to go in the first quarter. Stapleton, the junior from Blaine, Minnesota. See if she gets a touch in, but is likely the final possession in the Badgers in the opening frame. Nelson has 3 on 1 of 3 shooting. He's able to find a cutting Douglas, but it was taken away by Koslova, who then traveled. It's a change in which they have not scored. Nelson will dribble out some time, averaging just under 7 points per game. Trying to get it inside for Stoffaker. They're going to run out of time as it was taken away by Bibby. Half-court shot is off the mark from Miller, and that is how the first quarter will fittingly come to it. KAYYOW.com, the Big Ten stands with you. It's a fantastic program and a fantastic organization that Maryland and Wisconsin, the entire conference, really proud to support. Brenda Fries and Marissa Mosley both rocking the pink blazers today. Several fans in attendance wearing pink as well as Wisconsin gets on the board. To start the second quarter, courtesy of Brooke Schramek. Josh, it's a really worthwhile cause.
Yeah, cancer has affected everybody, and it's a good thing to see the awareness out here from both teams.
Angel Reese with a quick 2, and Angel Reese has been really good in the first quarter, now into the second quarter, up to 6 points for her to go along with 2 rebounds.
Badgers just haven't found a way to stop her.
14-point lead for the Terps. As the first touch for Stapleton, hand off right back to Nelson. 3 points on 1 for 3 shooting for Nelson. Inside for Stapleton. The reason she got all alone was an offensive foul.
Just can't get anything flowing right now if you're the Badgers on offense.
Stapleton was ranked as the number 18 post player by ESPN Hoop Girls coming out of high school in Minnesota. And a good recruit from Wisconsin that Marissa Mosley was able to take over. This is a Wisconsin program that's going to be recruiting very well in the next couple of years. We talked about Mosley's track record already. 3-ball is on the way, and it's good. Chloe Bibby's into double figures.
Feeling it early on, the Australian.
First one into double figures. She's got 11 of Maryland's 27. Here's Pospisilova, who's been held quiet to just the 2 points. Stapleton with Bibby all over her, and now back to Nelson. 10 seconds to shoot. And Elu is trapped in the corner. Ball on the ground with 3 seconds left to shoot, and a whistle and a jump ball. The possession arrow is going to send it the other way. Roll out here in the second quarter, just about 2 minutes gone by in the quarter. Katie Benson with 3 points on the day. That one straightaway 3. Here's Miller. We'll try her luck from beyond the arc. Was off the mark. Reese there on the weak side, though, to clean it up. It's too easy for Angel Reese.
Bigger, stronger, easier to reach over.
And Wisconsin right now searching for answers on how to defend number 10 on the glass. Shremick, the leading scorer for Wisconsin right now with 5 points, trying to find Pospisilova on the cut inside and went out of bounds. That will send an upset happening if you're Marissa Mosley. Back to Bibby. As Maryland's offense is humming right now. Inside from Miller, she's going to the line.
And she didn't get the bucket, but that was beautiful ball movement from the Terps, just moving it all the way around the horn, finding its way back inside.
You take a look at the ball movement for Maryland. Miller sending it all the way outside and getting it right back. That's something you love to see if you are Brenda Freese and the Maryland coaching staff.
Just movement off the ball. It sounds so simple, but not every single player does it.
First of 2 is good. Second of 2 on the way, good as well. And Maryland leads at 31-10. Last time these two teams met was back in February the 4th in the spring in College Park as well. It was all Maryland in that one as well, 84-48. And the Terps in command of this one as well. Pospisilova is double teamed, had it stripped by Miller, and it went out of play. Stoffaker is able to track it down. Pospisilova. And Elu ran out of time. And that is turnover number 11 for Wisconsin.
And if you ask Brenda Freese, she'd rather see that than a three-pointer going on the other end. Just defensive efforts from your team when you're already up 21 is what you want to see if you're a coach.
Wisconsin hasn't turned the ball over too much this season, averaging a shade under 15 turnovers a game, but they are set to reach that just about the halfway point of this ball game, as Maryland has been all over the place on the defensive end. Sellers coming off of the screen. Can't get it to go. Who else but Angel Reese to get the offensive rebound?
This time, all in one motion, up, offensive rebound off the glass and in.
It's another 11-0 run for the Terps, and Wisconsin hasn't scored in over 3 minutes. As they turn to Katie Nelson for some answers. Plays catch with Hallie Douglas. Under 10 seconds to shoot again, and a foul spotted down low on Cheyenne Sellers. Back to live action as the shot clock reset to 20 and counts down with Nelson working on Reese. The guard against the post player. And now Elu, the freshman, will pull up, can't get it to go. And Sellers there to corral the rebound. Here's Miller going downhill with a head of steam. We'll kick it back out for Sellers. Oh, Reese thought about it. Will instead take a shorter option and missed it off the left side of the rim. You could tell she was thinking about it from beyond the arc, though.
And if she starts hitting those shots consistently, watch out.
1 for 7 this season from downtown. Not something she does on a daily basis. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Elu. Extended the arm, and it's going the other way. Foul number 2 on Elu, the only player for Wisconsin, or either team really, with multiple fouls charged against her. And she will come out of the game, and Pospisilova will check back in. Benson checks back in for Maryland on the other side of things. Benson 1 for 1 from the field, as efficient as they come with just that 1 3-pointer. And an offensive foul going the other way, spotted down low on Angel Reese.
If it's Katie Benson and Chloe Bibby, well, you better watch out for it going to the bottom of the net before a second chance point.
Wisconsin able to break the press initially, and Nelson is able to get it over for Shremick. Now inside it goes, and down it goes for Stoffaker. Tara Stoffaker, the junior from Wisconsin, had a season-high 9 points last time out against Illinois after 4 consecutive games without scoring a basket. She's back on the score sheet here tonight in College Park. That's a charge. No player with more than 1 foul, though, for Maryland, so not a concern on that front. As Pospisilova Working on Reese. Now here's Nelson. Inside it goes for Schrammick, and she's able to draw the foul. And now you look at the first 5 games versus the most recent 5 games. First 5 games, she had a combined 15 points. Last 5 games, a combined 63 points. That's a sophomore who's learning how to play in the Big Ten.
And you just wonder what that's going to bring next year. All this good experience, all this solid scoring, could lead to an even better junior year.
It's a Wisconsin team that's going to return a lot of players for next season. No Katie Nelson. She's using that extra COVID year to come to Wisconsin for 1 more year. But Schrammick, just a sophomore. Pospisilova, just a junior. Haley Douglas, a sophomore. Haven't talked too much about Sydney Hillard, the junior, who had to step away from the team with a leave of absence for personal reasons on February the 3rd. She was the team's leading scorer. She's going to be back next season. Natalie Leitzinger as well, the sophomore. Stauffacher, just a junior. Almost this entire team's going to return. Wisconsin certainly with good things to come in the future, as Katie Nelson trying to work on the present as she was trapped in the corner. Finds its way to Douglas from downtown, knocks it down. Just a quick timeout, so we're right back into the swing of things between Maryland and Wisconsin. 33-17, the Terps have the advantage right now as Cheyenne Sellers with 5 points gets it back out for Chloe Bibby, who's leading all scorers with 11. Turnaround 2 for Collins is off the mark, and Wisconsin's able to track it down. We were talking about this future of this Wisconsin program. It's all looking up. You got a new head coach in Marissa Mosley with the great track record we talked about, almost everyone returning. And then you look at who Mosley's already starting to bring in for next season. 2 4-star recruits in Lily Cron and Savannah White. Savannah White, top 100 overall prospect by ESPNW. Sarah Williams, one of the top players in this nation of Canada, coming in for next season now at Toronto. She's one of the top Canadian forwards in all of 2022. Looking up for the Badgers.
I think Cron's the big one, though, because if you can keep your talent in state, then that's the first step to becoming a solid Big Ten program.
All fairly local with the exception of Williams out of Toronto. You got Cron out of Wisconsin, a couple more players out of Illinois and Minnesota. As Sellers lines up a 3 and hits it. Sellers is 2 for 4 from downtown, and she's got 8 points.
What a pass from Katie Benson, though. All the way from under the basket, all the way back up top.
Second helper of the day for the transfer from Harvard, and it's clicking on all cylinders right now for the Terps. Every time it seems like Wisconsin might start to get a foothold towards the back half of the second quarter, Maryland responds with a play like that. Here's Pospisilova, who's been held to just the 2 points, averaging over 14. And that one rims in and out. Koslova just had it stripped by Nelson. And Pospisilova gets it right back. Nice hands from Katie Nelson, and it sets up the mid-range shot from Douglas that is off the mark. Katie Nelson will put the ball on the ground. Bibby will drive baseline, goes to ground, no whistle, and now we'll get a jump ball. We'll send things the other way. Badgers possession. 2 players into double figures for Maryland. Bibby with 11, Reese with 10. Schrammick leads the Badgers with 7 as Nelson is denied, but Collins gets called for the foul. And Angel Reese trying to make sure Collins doesn't pick up a technical to go along with it. 1st and 2 for Nelson is on its way, and it's good. 4 points for the graduate student. As we mentioned, coming from Boston University, where she had a really successful career last year. She was All-Patriot first team. 2020, she was All-Patriot second team. So it's just a continuous level of success for Nelson. All 4 years she was in Boston, and now coming to Madison, Wisconsin, and making an impact as well, averaging nearly 7 points per game. As we mentioned, Chardon checks into the game for Maryland. With a minute to play in the first half, a half that has been dominated by the hosts. We're looking for their 6th straight win. That's a long way out for Katie Benson, but that's still Benson range.
And it's again, her 2 threes have come from Wisconsin going under the screens. You have to come over the top if it's Katie Benson with the ball. That's as good as a free throw.
Won't need an invitation to shoot, Katie Benson. And as soon as she saw the separation, she let it fly and knocked it down. And here's a turnover coming back the other way. Benson trying to lead the transition. Sellers gets fouled. Cheyenne Sellers will be headed to the line on the shooting foul. As Pospisilova will check out of the game. Natalie Leitzinger will come on in, the sophomore from Wisconsin. Played 5 minutes off of the bench against Illinois last time out. First of two for Sellers is good. Chance perhaps in a game like this for Marissa Mosley to go a little bit deeper into a rotation, bringing in a player like Leitzinger in the first half who scored 1 basket this season. Second of two for Sellers is also up and good, and that puts Sellers into double figures as well with 10 points. So 3 Terps with 10 or more in Bibby, Sellers, and Reese as the first half winds its way down, about a 2-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. As here is Leitzinger. Able to find Nelson. Stoffaker gets it over to the corner for Schrammick for 3, rattles it home. Brooke Schrammick is into double figures on the other side for Wisconsin. One more chance for Maryland if they can get it off, and they can't. Chardon didn't pull the trigger in time, and that is how the first half will come to a conclusion.
More.
She's had 5 straight double-digit point games, in jeopardy of losing that streak. One streak that's looking pretty solid right now is Maryland's 5-game win streak. If they can close things out, it will move to 6 consecutive Big Ten wins, as Reese can't get the second half started on the right foot for Maryland, and Wisconsin will move the other way.
Ball. Let's go.
Hallie Douglas thought about a 3, now back up top for Nelson. 5 points, 1 for 3 shooting for her. 2 rebounds and an assist as well for one of the leaders on this Wisconsin Badgers team. 7 seconds to shoot for the visitors, and Schrammick is trapped right now. Trying to get it inside for Douglas, but Benson read it first and was able to take it away. Another steal for Katie Benson in Maryland. And it didn't take long at all for Miller to get the shot off, but she couldn't connect. And Katie Benson added 8 more as well. 3 Terps into double figures here right now. Sellers, Reese, and Bibby. And Benson has 6 points as well. Here is Bibby. Thought about the 3, will put the ball on the floor. Nice dish inside for Reese. Couldn't get the finishing product, but a foul before Reese goes to the line and missed the first of 2. You were talking about that in the first half. That's one area of the game where Angel Reese can improve, as Brenda Freeze giving some one-on-one instruction to Diamond Miller. Second of 2, also no good. 0 for 2 from the stripe on that trip for Angel Reese, and it stays a 19-point game. Right where we were when the second half started.
Here we go. Up.
About a minute and a half gone by in the third quarter of play. Schrammick averaged just 2.9 points per game last season, way above that this year as Pospisilova gets going from the right wing. It's a long 2, but Pospisilova able to get back on track as Reese draws another foul inside. Give the foul to Schrammick, that's 2 for her. And that's 3 straight missed free throws for Angel Reese.
The way she plays so physical. Gotta make these free throws if you're gonna be drawing these fouls.
That one is good, and you make a good point, Josh. The way her game goes, she's going to be getting to the line a lot, and that's points left on the table for Maryland, especially when they get into games in the latter stages of the season against teams like Indiana, and then into the Big Ten and NCAA tournaments as well. Katie Nelson will back it out. Fell just short of the NCAA tournament last season with Boston University getting to the Patriot League title game as Bibby takes it away and comes the other way. Bibby can't get it to go, didn't get the foul as well, and now the Badgers can move in transition the other way. Schrammick spotting up, missed badly, but Pospisilova there for the offensive rebound. Gets it out of her hands to Nelson. Schrammick lost it initially, and now Reese is able to pick it up and take it the other way. Those long strides for Angel Reese give her 2 points.
Coast to coast from the 6'4" sophomore.
Just able to outrun the entire Wisconsin defense. And she's got a baker's dozen now. Maryland's lead is 20. Largest lead of the day was 23. And not far off from that right now. Wisconsin looking for any answers. Here's Pospisilova, and it's denied by Reese. Got it right back, though. Schrammick with the extra pass to the corner, off the mark. Offensive rebound, though, by Hallie Douglas. Couldn't connect inside with Schrammick, and Benson with her head up. Good pass for Sellers. Left it a little bit short. Even though Maryland up by 20, pace continuing to pick up a little bit here from the Xfinity Center.
The motto for the team last year, all gas, no brakes. Holding true this year.
That was an offense last year that averaged nearly 91 points per game as Reese denies points on the other end. Another block for Angel Reese, and Maryland looking to turn defense to offense. Sellers gets it inside for Miller. Nice dish and a nice finish. And a timeout taken by Marissa Mosley. Everything clicking for Maryland right now, and they lead by 22 on Big Ten Plus. Natalie Leitzinger checks back into the game and brings the ball up the floor. And Pospashlova stepped on the sideline, and that is the 18th turnover for Wisconsin nearly midway through the third quarter.
Just not going to cut it if you're trying to pull off the upset.
Maryland's turned those 17, now 18 turnovers into 21 points. Looking for more with Bibby. Can't get it to go, and the fight for the rebound won by Reese. Second foul of the day for Angel Reese. So an offensive foul gives the ball back the other way. Pass inside for Stoffaker. Don't know if she was ready for it. Leitzinger makes the extra pass to the wing. Can't hit, though, and a foul down low. Up to 3, a chance for more that we talked about against Purdue or a couple of other teams towards the end of the Big Ten slate. Bring in a good slate next season as Bibby is able to hit. And it's about that forward progression. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some patience for Wisconsin. It's not really rational to expect a coach to take over a 2-win in-conference season, give them 15 wins. Sports fans not exactly known for their patience and rationality when it comes to that. It's going to take some time, but Wisconsin moving in the right direction.
You get those 4 or 5 wins this year, and then you get to 6 or 7 the next year, and just keep consistently growing.
The Terps men's basketball team are doing this season. Bright future for him, just a freshman. And bright future for Angel as well, just a sophomore. A couple more years with this Maryland team as Katie Benson got fouled. She gets her shots, she rarely misses those.
And with Ashley Owusu out, she's had to step into that main facilitator role, not getting her shot as often, but doing a great job.
And the team certainly doesn't look like they've missed a beat without one of their leaders in Ashley Owusu. No timetable for her return immediately as Miller is unable to hit. Hopefully sooner rather than later from a Maryland perspective. To get Ashley Owusu back, who's been so good this season for the Terps.
There you go, up the line, there you go.
7-0 run for Maryland. Wisconsin hasn't scored in a little bit over 4 minutes. They've missed each of their last 6 field goals. With under 10 seconds to go, Wisconsin has to move in a hurry. Douglas with a good cut inside and scores. Hallie Douglas up to 5 points. Bibby gets it right back in on the post, looking to kick it out and does. Under 10 seconds now for Maryland to shoot as Sellers is able to connect.
Using her size to get into the lane there, the 6'2" freshman.
And seems even though she's just a freshman, Cheyenne Sellers is already kind of that 3-level scorer. She can score with those layups driving into the paint. She can score at the mid-range, and she can score from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and that's not something you see from every single freshman, but from day one, it was very obvious. Brenda Fries was going to give her playing time, and she was going to grow into a role.
Benson spots up and hits. Far too easy for Katie Benson.
3 for 3 from the outside for the best three-point shooter in the country from last season.
She connected with about 50% of her threes a season ago. In fact, exactly 50%, 93 for 186. Inside it goes and taken away once again. Miller trying to lead the transition, and the pass was too far out in front of Angel Reese. Player was ranked in the top 100 coming out of high school by Prospects Nation and by ESPN. Lake Forest, Illinois native. As Nelson directing traffic right now, running the show with Benson all over her. Here is Douglas. Schrammick couldn't handle it cleanly and now has to get a shot up with under 5 seconds to go. Draws the foul instead. Bit of a let off there for Wisconsin as Schrammick was in all sorts of trouble, which he's going to the line.
All sorts
which
of
might ring a couple of bells for some Wisconsin fans. Another basketball player came out of that school by the name of Frank Kaminsky, and he had quite the career for Wisconsin on the men's side of things.
Won some award called the Naismith Award. I don't know if that's a big deal in men's college basketball.
On the women's side of things, Schrammick representing that school as well, really well, just a sophomore, an incredibly bright future for her. She's the leading scorer for Wisconsin. Up to 12 points, 3 for 6 from the field, 2 for 3 from beyond the arc as well. Nice move from Angel Reese. And if that's part of her repertoire too, it's gonna be really difficult to stop.
Put a little bit of a spin cycle on it. We see her so many times trying to spin to her offhand, which is her right hand, that time spinning to her strong hand, the left hand.
She's the leading scorer for today with 15 points. Seas parted for Pospisilova, and Wisconsin right back on the board. And Brenda Fries wants another 30-second timeout. Maryland with the ball right back. Here's Koslova. Inside for Chardon, who's checked back into the game and took too many steps, moved her pivot foot, wow, there, and it was a 3-second violation as well. All sorts of problems for me and for Chardon as well.
Your problems will fix quick. Those problems will fix quick for Chardon. Just too much patience in the paint. Got to get rid of it early.
Just a freshman from Switzerland. Bright future, though, with this Maryland program. And an offensive foul going the other way. Reese was able to draw it off of Pospisilova. So that is over 20 turnovers now make it exactly 20 turnovers for Wisconsin, the dubious mark to hit before the third quarter comes to a close. Benson gets it over to Bibby, who's been more quiet in the second half after a really strong start. Chardon lost her footing, but she's going to draw a foul.
Some experience instead of putting a player who's dealing with an injury in.
First one is off the mark for Chardon. Katie Benson chatting with Brenda Fries there. Chardon's played with the Swiss national team for quite some time, now getting a taste of college basketball stateside. And she hits the second at 2, and a good ovation from the Xfinity Center crowd as well.
And a freshman who hasn't fit as seamlessly in as Cheyenne Sellers had, but still a project player and a player who could be very good for this team in the future.
Certainly big upside for the freshman from Geneva. Leitzinger gets it to the baseline for Nelson, gets it right back. Up top for Douglas. Nice catch from Leitzinger just to keep the play alive, and then Reese was able to deflect it away. Wisconsin has to hurry with Elu. Over for Nelson, who gets a little floater, but she didn't get off in time. Shot clock violation, not the first one of the day for Wisconsin, and Maryland can hold for the last shot of the third quarter.
And good rotation from the Terps defense there. Chardon coming in. Oftentimes the communication lacks a little bit on the first 2 possessions. Fits right in.
Katie Benson will dribble out some clock. 9 points for her. Benson in some traffic. Able to get it over for Reese from beyond the arc is off the mark. Years as they look for their 6th consecutive win. So far this season, trying to move to 10-3 in the Big Ten, back into double-digit wins in conference, and their 10th win in 10 times asking against the Wisconsin Badgers, who have never beaten the Terps. Cheyenne Sellers able to clean things up on the defensive side of things. And Josh, now is really, as we've talked about all game, when you want to be playing your best basketball, and that's what Maryland has been able to do in recent history under Brenda Fries. You think about the last couple of years and now into this year, as Angel Reese is going to go to the line. Last 3 years, not including this year, Maryland was 20-1 in the month of February. They're 2-0 so far, so make it 22-1 in the past couple years. They haven't lost at all in February since a loss at Iowa on February 17th, 2019. 31 points for Megan Gustafson's a difficult task to overcome, and they haven't lost at home in the month of February since February 2018 against Purdue. They've won 13 straight here at the Xfinity Center in the month of February, and it's not just a stat that you can cherry pick to make the Terps look good. Now is the time when you need to be playing your best basketball. February basketball is really important, and Maryland's been able to do it really well.
And some folks at home might look at the scoreboard and say, well, they've only put up 58 points so far, and we're already in the third quarter, but they're up 28 and holding Wisconsin to 30 points.
Another strong start from Maryland. They were up 22-8 after the first quarter was over. They led Nebraska 26-11 after the end of the first quarter last time out. As Schrammick with another bucket for Wisconsin. She's up to 14. Terps still shooting over 50% from the field. They're still 50% from three. They're 7-14 from beyond the arc. Big reason why. 2 for 5 for Sellers, 2 for 3 for Bibby, and 3 of 3 from Katie Benson. One more for Bibby on cue.
And for the folks at home, no, we do not have an earpiece in Chloe Bibby's ear.
You certainly won't have to ask Chloe Bibby to shoot a 3 twice. She's up to 16 points. Good ball movement from Wisconsin. Finds Pospisilova in and out and then back down. Give her 9 points, 4 for 10 from the field. That's a little bit more like what we expected from Pospisilova when we started the game.
Not the most efficient day from her. Probably would have to be a little more efficient for the Badgers to be in it.
Here's Bibby again. Spots one up from the left wing. Can't connect this time. Bibby 6 for 10 from the field. Has been a really important piece, picking up right where she left off last time out against Nebraska and picking up for the loss of Ashley Owusu as well. As Pospisilovan's off on that occasion. Wisconsin shooting under 40% from the field, make it 36% after that last miss, and 4 for 12 from downtown. Bibby now posting up, and she took too many steps. Wisconsin's converted that into 11 points, 21 turnovers for the Badgers, and 22 points off of that for the Terps. That's a big reason why Maryland has this sizable advantage that just got a little bit smaller after Katie Nelson was able to hit the corner 3.
Good ball movement. She's found the ball in that corner a couple times now. This time nails the 3.
8 points now for Nelson. First 3 ball that she's been able to hit as Bibby goes crashing to the ground trying to save it. It's going the other way though.
Effort doesn't stop.
Something Brenda Fries has been making sure her team knows all season long, really the entire time she's been in College Park. You've seen her team play like that as Sellers says not that time to the shot. Big deflection from the freshman. And now Maryland can come the other way. Koslova calling for it. Gets it inside for Reese. Back to the basket. Backing down on Stoffaker, missed everything. And Wisconsin has numbers coming the other way. And a foul down low on Bibby before the shot. Half minutes. So get it right back in for Schrammick. Their leading scorer was able to draw a foul. Schrammick with another really solid day. She's up to 14 points and a chance for a bit more. First foul of the day against Katie Benson. So Schrammick to the line. Talked about how big of a jump she has made from last season to this. 2.9 points per game a season ago. And in 19 combined minutes over 2 different games against Maryland. Last season, she didn't score a point. But certainly changing that around this time around. And she's up to 16 points after she goes 2 for 2 from the stripe. So Maryland working through their first piece of adversity really in this ball game. Haven't scored in nearly 3 minutes. Looking to change that inside with Miller. Mosley, you can go into the locker room after this game and into the film room going into next game, looking at this stretch, saying you not only hung with, but you really set Maryland back on their heels, the number 15 team in the nation. That's going to be a big feather in the cap for the Badgers as they head down the home stretch this year. And they're looking for even more with Nelson. Here's Pospashlova, under 5 seconds to shoot. Entry pass was off the mark. And another turnover, which has been the story of the day today for Wisconsin. 22 for them.
Just too many to beat any team, let alone Maryland in College Park.
You have that recipe for upsets that is talked about, making sure you don't turn the ball over, making sure you hit your threes, as Bibby with a fadeaway 2 is off the mark. Sellers comes crashing in, can't get it to go either. That recipe for success hasn't really been met over the course of the full 40 minutes as Miller's going to head to the line. The stat sheet not just in the points category.
And she's had to do that a little more this season now that Faith Massonis is out with a torn ACL. She's the glue piece off the bench that comes in and gets you those 6 or 7 points, 6 or 7 rebounds, 6 or 7 assists. The whole group having to pick it up, but Diamond Miller in particular coming back healthy now with that knee injury early on in the season.
Haven't talked much about that so far today. Faith Massonis, the junior for Maryland, torn ACL, she's done for the season. Big loss for Maryland coming off the bench.
Averaging 6.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists. Just the piece that held it all together off the bench. The first player Brenda Fries could call on.
Excellent defensively as well. And Maryland's going to have to figure out how to navigate the postseason without her. Another turnover for Wisconsin. Bibby, transition 3, can't hit it. And a foul on the floor as Reese goes crashing into the corner. Out the play for K game. As Maryland's able to start once again on offense, and they're able to break the field goal drought with Diamond Miller. Give her 7 points.
A little bit of an off day for Miller today. Only 2 of 9 from the field, but staying heavily involved.
So here is Hallie Douglas. Over to Pospashlova, who's up to 9 points. Good ball movement from Wisconsin on this possession. Up top for Shremick. Shremick driving into the paint, goes up with the left hand, can't get it to go, fighting for her own rebound. Big happy birthday to our director, Thomas. Nothing better to spend it with than some Big Ten women's basketball and the number 15 team in the nation. Inside for Reese, nice dish from Miller. Extra pass, Koslova left it short. And a foul down low going the other way. Today, another really strong performance for her. Nice cut inside, basket and the foul. Intelligent play from Katie Nelson, and she's going to the line for one more.
And Marissa Mosley loved that one, screaming yes.
And it's continuing to build those good habits for Wisconsin, making sure you're doing all those little things right, making the good cuts, making the backdoor passes. They're not going to translate necessarily to a win today, but down the stretch of this season and into next season as well, that's what Marissa Mosley's trying to build that we've talked about.
And finishing your plays off too. Make your free throw to get the N1.
Certainly expect that from a player with Nelson's experience, and that's exactly what she does. So she's into double figures for Wisconsin, 11 points for her. Leading scorer for Wisconsin is still Brooke Shremick with 16, 2 points off of her season high. Doesn't shoot for the Terps as Miller goes inside. Here's Reese with her 3 fouls. Into the corner from Miller, off the mark. Reese fighting for the rebound, and she gets fouled. Not the first time today we've said that.
Give her 9 rebounds, going to the free throw line where she has struggled today. 3 of 7 from the line. Gotta look to make these 2. That's the one improvement you need to see from her game.
And it's nitpicking a little bit, but those are points that will be on the line and will really matter down the home stretch of this regular season. We've talked, especially at halftime, about Maryland's remaining schedule. Some really tough tests. Home for Ohio State, at Michigan, home for Indiana. Those 2 last games are going to be really tough, and those are points you'll really need against those teams.
And there's a reason she's on the midseason watch list for the National Player of the Year. She's a great player. If you want to pick one thing out of her game that absolutely needs to improve, it's that free throw percentage.
That Indiana game on Big Ten Network to end the regular season is going to be a ton of fun. 2 of the top teams in the conference battling it out for positioning, and a big win on the resume. Another turnover for Wisconsin, and Benson coming the other way. Long skip pass that goes over the head of Koslova.
And it's 8 players who are only healthy for the Terps.
Talked about Faith Massonis and her torn ACL. Ashley Owusu out today as well. as Bibby is able to just jump the route on that pass and take it away. Another turnover for Wisconsin. Make that 25. Inside for Chardon, posting up. Stopped her dribble, so she has to get it to Miller. And Miller is able to get it to go. Got the friendly roll, and she's going to the line for one more.
A dead play when she lost the ball behind her back, but she's the type of player who can turn a dead play into a positive play.
Standing ovation on the Wisconsin bench for Brooke Schremick, who checks out of the game. And the free throw can't go for Miller.
Commentator's curse coming into play there.
Maryland 12 for 19 from the free throw line. It's not just Reese that has struggled there. That's certainly something that Brenda Fries is going to want to talk about and want to improve. I think Sellers stepped on the out-of-bounds line. And the Terps with a 25-point advantage. Likely won't be the 36-point margin that they had last time the Badgers came to town, but another strong performance. I think back to that game last time out, 84-48, 20 points from Sydney Hilliard. We haven't talked too much about the absence for her. It's certainly a huge loss, the leading scorer. As Wisconsin is denied on the interior. It's certainly a big loss for Wisconsin. You think back to that game, 18 points for Katie Benson, 17 for Ashley Owusu. 6 Maryland players were in double figures. You see that balance again in this year's team. Miller trying to get into double figures herself and does. That's, I guess, the opposite of the commentator's curse. It was right on cue for Miller. And 4 Terps have at least 10 points.
You can kind of tell these last couple possessions, she's been wanting to score the ball a little bit more. Has a great stat line now, 11 points, 7 assists for the guard out of Jersey.
3 ball on the way for Wisconsin. Off the mark, Chloe Bibby is able to clean it up on the glass. And a travel is going to be called against Koslova.
And that number needs to come down.
Averaging under 15 turnovers per game this season, Maryland. They have dominated in most aspects of the game, including on the glass, 33-22. Leitzinger thought about it. Now we'll try the floater. Can't get the roll for a player that's only scored 1 basket this season. That's awfully unkind. And Cheyenne Sellers will be able to dribble out the clock the rest of the way. Standing ovation from the Xfinity Center crowd today as the clock ticks down to the final moments. It started off with a Wisconsin free throw, but it's going to end with a 27-point win for the Maryland Terrapins. A comprehensive victory tonight for Brenda Fries' squad.
Not as high scoring as the Terps usually are, only 70 points, but a great defensive showing, holding the Badgers to 43 points.